Hey, and welcome back to the Spruce Grove Public Library YouTube channel. We are reading Love, Hate and Other Filters today. So this is our October pick for our virtual reading club for teens, and we are reading this as well because it is the Global Read Aloud book pick for 2018 for the teen level. And as I forgot to mention, my name is Sarah and I'm the children's librarian here at the library, and we will continue our reading journey. So if you haven't already tuned in, then do go back, watch the other videos and catch up with the story, and then you can continue on with this. So we're up to chapter 11 today. So Phil's smiling face fills my computer screen, but all I see is his luscious dimple. I've been rough cutting shots all morning to create a montage of the time Phil and I spent together. One image of Phil fades into another, the ambient light in the shots shifts and casts shadows across his brow, his cheekbones, his lips. I'm trying to convince myself I'm not searching for the best shots, empirically speaking, but I'm not. I'm searching for his smile, not just anyone, the smile I'm sure is meant only for me. The smile that will prove Kareem right about Phil liking me for real. This is pathetic, I say out loud, pushing back my computer. When I walk into the kitchen, my aunt is at the table sipping chai and my mum is at the stove cooking. I didn't hear you come in, I say, happy to see Hina. Inviting her over as moral support was probably the best decision I've ever made. My resolve is bolstered just by her presence. Your Ummi said you've been working on a movie, so I didn't want to interrupt, but I'm dying to hear about the brunch with Kareem and his parents. My mum starts aggressively stirring the pot in front of her. She doesn't acknowledge Hina's question, but she heard it. I sink into the chair opposite Hina, who gives me a little shrug. I sigh. Well, Kareem and I are just going to be friends. I mean, he really considers me a little sister. It's sweet. I'm trying to sound as chipper as possible. My mum still isn't looking at us. So I open my eyes wide and gesture at Hina to go along. And when she gives me a silent ah and nods, I know she gets me. Little sister, my mum mutters under her breath and keeps stirring. Well, that's good, no? Hina says, trying to sound upbeat. I mean, it's always good to have family, and since he's in college, I'm sure he's going to be a great source of advice. Exactly, I say, I'm sure. My mum whips around and waves the wooden spoon in her hand like she's preparing for battle. You're not sure of anything. That's why you're throwing poor Kareem at some ash heap before he's even had a chance. I'm not throwing anyone anywhere. Seriously, Mum. It's not like I'm breaking off an engagement. It's absurd. The thing is, Mum hasn't even reached peak melodrama yet. You should be so lucky as to get engaged, she says. She's getting there. What? I can't believe... Hina steps in. Come on now, Appa. I'm pretty sure she can see that I'm about to erupt. You didn't really expect Maya to get engaged. She's not even 18 yet. She has to focus on her studies. My mum takes a breath and lowers the spoon. Of course, we want Maya to finish school before getting married, but you know, it can't hurt to have someone in mind. I open my mouth to say something, but Hina nudges me under the table, so I bite my lip and keep my sarcastic remarks to myself. This is not today's battle. Don't worry, Appa. Maya is quite the catch. I'm sure she will have no problem finding eligible suitors when the time comes. Of course she's a catch. She's my daughter, isn't she? My mum turns back to the stove, pleased with her retort. I see her shoulders relaxed, the Hina effect. And my dad enters the kitchen, which is good. Even if he sniffs a discussion of anything emotional or feminine, he hightails it out of there. Arai, I'm getting hungry. He sidles up to my mum and puts an arm round her shoulders. I sit on my hands, I shift in my seat. Even this G-rated eyeful of parental affection makes me uncomfortable. Hina sweeps in to rescue. Maya and I will take these dishes into the dining room, and you can bring the rest when you're done, okay, Appa? 2 more minutes, my mum says, and gestures to my dad to get water glasses from the cupboard. Hina and I take out the dal, kebabs, rice, and sit at the table, and I take a few breaths, savouring the calm. We just sidestep one argument so we can dive into an even bigger one. So you have a plan, right? Hina asks in a whisper. Yes, you tell them I got into NYU while I cower in a corner. Hina laughs. God, I'm not that brave. Be firm and let them know it's what you want. Tag me in as necessary. I'm going to carp this DM, I say, and for an instant I imagine Kareem nodding his approval. My parents join us in the dining room, carrying in the remaining dishes, and they take a seat. My mum fills our plates. Oh, I forgot the naan, she said, slapping her palm to her forehead. Let me go heat. Jan, it's okay. And my dad takes my mum's wrist and gently pulling her back to the table and her seat. Let's all sit down and have a nice, peaceful family lunch. I catch Hina's eyes. No time like the present. Dad, I ask, inflection rising, this might not be a peaceful family lunch you hoped for. Why? And my mum asks, panic tinging her voice. What happened? What's wrong? Upper, there's nothing wrong. Let Maya explain, Hina says. I gulp. This is happening right now. Mom, Dad, you know how I love making movies? It's a very nice hobby, my dad says, and his tone is firm. We are all looking forward to the movie of Aisha's wedding. It's more than a hobby, my voice falters. I look from my dad to my mom, and I take a deep breath. I straighten my shoulders, and I sit up in my seat. If I don't sound convincing to myself, they definitely aren't going to buy anything I have to say. And I clear my throat. I want to make movies, forever, as a career. I want to study film in school. And my parents stare at me like they're looking into the abyss, searching for light. You know how I got into Northwestern and U of C? 2 excellent schools where you can study to become a lawyer. And my dad's voice is firmer now, flatter too. Well, I sort of also applied to NYU and got in. Dad drops his silverware. Sort of. Not sort of. I applied to NYU and I accepted. NYU, my mum repeats. Yes, NYU, New York University. But that's in... And she turns to my dad. Yes, Mum, it's in New York. That's why it's called New York University. Wrong moment for sarcasm. Maya, and my dad's tone is sharp. Watch how you talk to your mother. So what you're telling us is you applied to this school behind our backs and you got in and now you expect us to let you go there. My mum shakes her head. Her expression is both less angry and more puzzled than his. Maya, you're not going to NYU. The answer is simple. No, it's too far. We agreed that you would stay closer to home. I feel a little prickle of anger. No, Mum, you and Dad agreed, not me. I want to go to NYU. It's one of the best film schools in the country. They say my films show a lot of promise, and they have amazing professors, and it's only 2 hours by plane. And I know it's more expensive than U of C, but I promise I'll work extra hours at the Idol to save money, and even get a job in New York to make up some of the difference. My parents start talking to each other in Urdu, the primary and personal language they share. Any time the topic veers towards something serious or emotional, especially anger, they revert to Urdu. I get it. It's familiar, the language they grew up with, and they met each other in. I can keep up because I understand it, but they know I can't respond. Not really. People in India always say Urdu is this sweet language of poetry, but to me, Urdu just sounds like my parents. She can't go. She has to stay close to home. This is your fault, you know. You're the one who got her that dumb camera. Always encouraging her. My mom is in a free fall. I know we gave her too much freedom, always letting her do whatever she wants, never taking her to the mosque. Jan, calm down. My dad tries to pacify my mother, but the bulging vein in his forehead tells me he is far from relaxed. Let her explain. Maybe this is a phase. He turns towards me. The English language and I reappear in the conversation. I don't understand how you simply lied so easily and applied to NYU and now expect us to say, okay, go ahead. This isn't just a matter of money, Maya. You know that. Dad, I'm sorry. I should have told you. But I made a spur-of-the-minute decision to apply. I didn't dream I'd get in. And you're so adamantly against it. I did tell Hina and the blurter emerges and it's a mistake to implicate my aunt. Now my mum looks upset and she turns her fiery gaze to Hina. You encouraged her? My sister and my daughter lying to me? What did I do to deserve this? My mum yells as her eyes grow shiny with tears. It's not Hina's fault. It's okay. And Hina puts her hand on my arm and interjects. I did support her decision. I do. Maya has talent. You don't want her to waste a gift from God, now do you? Oh, don't you start as if you're so pious, Mum snaps. Maya's got this defiance from you. You set a terrible example. Hina lets the words wash right over her. She is serene. Appa, do you pray 5 times a day regularly? Well, you know each night I pray for Maya. Obviously, I've not been doing a good job. I throw up my hands. What does praying have to do with going to NYU anyway? I'm not modern or whatever because of Hina. I'm the way I am because I live now. In the 21st century, in America. And I want to make movies. My eyes are wide, I'm rebelling. I'm going to be a Desi movie-making rebel, just like Deepa Mehta. Of course, I could never mention her name as a role model, because even though Water was tragic and beautiful and amazing, and got an Oscar nomination, it caused riots in India, and she got death threats. Not the image I want my parents to associate with me as a director. Mum's expression grows bitter. I really should have sent you to boarding school in India. Everyone calm down, my dad urges. Sophia, you're going to raise your blood pressure. And Maya, you need to listen. Why can't you trust me, I ask point blank. Better, and my dad tempers his voice. It's not that we don't trust you. Your Umi worries what will happen to you if you go far away from home. That's right, and Mum sniffs and dabs her eyes with a napkin. You know, we're always hearing stories of our girls who live far from their parents and go with these boys and get into trouble. And some of them even eat pork. I stifle a laugh. Laughing would definitely not be appropriate right now. But I'm not sure how the apparently cardinal sin of eating pork equates with the kind of trouble you can get into with boys, say premarital sex. But in my mom's logic it does. Mom, you know I'm not like that. I never go wild and eat pepperoni pizza, and I don't even break curfew. But what if something happens to you, my father asks. We don't have any relatives in New York. Who will help you? I guess I'll need to help myself, I say, and then quickly add, plus Kareem is only a couple of hours away in Princeton. I know I can call on him for anything. He told me so. My mum perks up at the sound of Kareem's name. Matchmaking hopes springs eternal in the Desi Muslim mum's imagination. But how will it look if we send you away by yourself, a girl? Look to who, I ask? The community, my mum says. You know how people talk. What people? Hina jumps in. Your friends, your family? Appa, this isn't back home. This isn't even the same as it was 20, 30 years ago, even in India. And she offers a sly smile. Look at me, the heathen. I live on my own, and you haven't disowned me yet. My mum allows herself a smile and then says, but you're my sister. I love you, but you're not. I'm not married. You don't want Maya to be too independent like me? Well, I'm happy, and if that matters to you, I have a great life and great friends, and I love being a graphic designer. I designed a banner that hangs from every lamppost in downtown Chicago to raise money and awareness for breast cancer. And I'm proud of that. I hope Maya can have all these things that make her happy and more. And if she wants to get married, that should be her choice too. I squeeze my aunt's hand. It's escaped me how truly rebellious Hina's life really is, as far as Desi Muslim standards go, even by American-born confused Desi Muslim standards. Hina is 40-something, single, childless, and lives by herself. She's not a rebel, she's a pioneer. What a lonely road it must have been for her to travel. Of course, Hina, my dad says softly, attempting again to soothe the flaring tempers. We want Maya to be happy in her life, and you are a wonderful aunt. But we made our wishes very clear to Maya, and she should have voiced her objections then, not after the fact. Yes, bye, Jean. Hina addresses him with very respectful brother dear in Urdu. You are her parents and I understand your wishes, but remember how your parents felt when you were coming to America. They didn't want you to go, but you wanted to do what was best for your family and your future. And Maya once, I remember very well how heartbroken our Umi was at the airport, my mother interrupts. But I was much older than Maya. You are actually only a little older than Maya is now, my dear sister, Hina points out, and Hyderabad is a lot farther away than Illinois is from New York. But don't forget, you waited a long time to have a kid despite our Umi's pressure. My mum narrows her eyes at Hina. That was a decision between husband and wife. Why are you bringing up this ancient history? Because it's important. Because a marriage certificate doesn't bestow maturity. And even you have to admit that Maya is much savvier than you were at her age. Let her find out about her new world too, as you did all those years ago. I'm in awe of my aunt's alchemy with words. It truly is magic. As Hina speaks, my parents' faces relax, growing wistful, as they remember when they were young and full of dreams. I hesitate, and I take a chance and break the moment of calm. I'm asking for the chance to follow my passion. If I don't take it now, I'm afraid I'll regret it one day. And I promise if I hate it or don't have the talent they seem to think I might, I'll switch majors to a more practical one. And I reach across the table and place my hand on my mother's. But not pre-med. I know I can't stand blood. This makes them laugh. I'm winning my case. But if I'm going to suck all the marrow out of this bone, I need to hear them say the words. And I promise if you let me go, I'll call home all the time. And I won't turn into an ungrateful, pork-eating, miniskirt-wearing. Hina puts her hand on my knee to stop my compulsive talking. It's too bad I won't be able to take her with me if this works out. Better, you know we want what is best for you. And my dad looks at my mum as he says this. He's caving. I can see it in his face. Finally, he turns to me. What is the timeline for deciding? May 1st. That is this Thursday, my mum yelps. Maya! I'm sorry. I know I should have told you earlier, but I wasn't sure how. I thought you'd be so mad you'd hate me. I am mad, but how can I hate you? You're my daughter. Your dad is right. And we want what is best for you. We want you to be happy. And my mum and dad look at each other and then at me. And something passed between them in that look. Some kind of silent communication married people share. And Hina's right. Maybe I'll be able to share that sort of glance with my own husband one day, but on my terms. My mum stands up from the table. The food has gone cold now, let me reheat it, and she sighs. I guess you are your father's daughter, always wanting to see new things. The morning light streams into the kitchen. I don't think any one of us slept. It's clear in our bleary eyes and sluggish movements and hesitant syllables. All of yesterday's dishes are still in the sink. Maya, you left food on that plate. You have to rinse it properly before putting it in the dishwasher, my mum reminds me. After Hina left, my parents didn't say another word to me about NYU. They didn't say another word to me, period. Mostly they huddled in their room, presumably talking about me, but there weren't any raised voices, so I took that as a hopeful sign. Sorry, Mum, and I didn't want to argue our new dishwasher is connected to the garbage disposal, so we don't have to be all old school about loading the dishes. There were little cracks in the parental college resolve last night, and I know what Hina would advise, so I tried to channel her patience and understanding of my parents' anxieties. My dad is at the table drinking chai. Out of the corner of my eye, I spy my parents steal another one of those silent, meaningful looks at each other, and my dad gives my mum a wan smile. If you're going to be on your own, you can't eat off dirty dishes. God help you, and my mum shakes her head. On my own? You mean? And I turn to look at my mum, who just shrugs. Dad, does that mean I can go to NYU? And my dad nods once. I'll remember that nod forever. I turn from the sink and wipe my hands on my jeans and wrap my arms around his neck and whisper a thank you. I look at my feet, they're still on the floor. I don't know how this is possible. And my dad strokes my hair. It's been a long time since I've allowed that to happen, and it grounds me. I am here, and this is happening. I walk back to the sink to hug my mum, and my dad clears his throat. Your mum is right. Just because you're going to be far away doesn't mean you can eat off filthy dishes and whatnot. I have a feeling we're not talking about clean dishes anymore, but I add extra dish soap to the sponge to get off every speck of food, just in case. And I nod and let my dad continue. When you're in the dorm room, you will treat it just like you're in this house. All the same rules apply, do you understand? Yes, Dad, and I smile and nod and continue loading the dishes. That means you're going there to study, and that's it. We want you to make friends too, my mum said. Nice ones, girls. And maybe you can join the Muslim Students Association. You know, Yasmin told me all about the one at her college. She organised their Eid party. It sounds perfect for you, and you could film all the events. I bite my tongue, literally. I bite down on the tip of my tongue to stop the words that are about to roll off it. My muscles tense, but I keep a smile on my face. That's a great idea, Mum. And my mum turns to my dad and nods, clearly pleased with herself. Maya, your mum and I are giving you permission to go to NYU, but don't think that this means you can go behind our backs again. No more surprises. And my dad pauses and gives my mum that silent look again that tells her to continue while he leaves the kitchen. Just before he walks out, he kisses me on the top of my head. Approval. You understand what your dad is saying, right? You're growing up. You need to be careful, especially when you're on your own, especially with boys. You see what I'm saying? Yes, Mum, I promise. I'll focus on my studies, no surprises, and I'll make you proud. I don't know what else to say because of course I'm going to be going out, and I hope there will be boys, or at least one boy. Maybe even one here, but my assurances appease my mum, even if they feel false to me. I will study. I do hope I'll make them proud, but this is my first taste of adventure, and as Kareem might say, I'm going to carp the hell out of every DM. Maya Aziz, beyond Batavia, I can't wait to tell Kareem I did it, and Phil. I want to tell him too. But I think about that awkwardness later. For now, I want to revel in the happiness that fizzes inside me. New York life, and my parents' change of heart has to be a good sign of things to come. Maybe Phil's not in my future, but my other dreams are, and they already are. I tell my mum I can finish up in the kitchen, but she doesn't move. And when I turn to look at her, she's gazing at me with tears welling her eyes. Mum, what's wrong? Nothing better. You're growing up. Hina was right. You're a wonderful young woman. May God grant you a long life and every happiness. And I step over to her and hug her, my soapy dish hands dripping on the floor. She steps back. I have to take the Nazar off you. Mum, it's okay. No one gave me the evil eye. I'm good. And my whole life, any time I had any sort of school achievement, or even when I get what my mum refers to as compliments of envy, or especially when I would suddenly get sick, my mum would take the Nazar off. Sometimes preemptively. Don't fight her on her superstitions, I say to myself. WWHD, what would Hina do? Hina would quietly give my mum this little victory to assuage her concerns, and I walk over to the fridge, take out an egg, and hand it to my mum. She carefully takes it in her right hand and sweeps it over my head while she recites a quiet prayer, asking God to remove the evil eye and keep me under his protection. The whole ritual takes barely 2 minutes, and it gives her peace of mind. She smiles and hands me the egg. Now go put it outside in the pot with the jasmine plant. I'll bury it outside later. Be careful. I got it, Mum, don't worry. And my mum goes to join my dad in the living room. I start for the back door, but I lose my footing and slip on the sudsy water I dripped all over the floor when I hug my mum. I throw my arms out for balance so I don't fall on my ass, and I'm impressed with my cat-like recovery, but sticky egg white and yolk drip down my fingers because of my effort not to fall. I crush the egg in my hand. I can imagine my mum's freak out if she witnessed this sacrilege, so I quickly wash it off in the sink and sweep up any remaining eggshell and dump it in the sink. I turn the water on and run the garbage disposal. My mum's got a calm when it comes to the ritual, so I'm not going to tell her about this. What she doesn't know can't hurt her. And that's the end of our chapter. So thanks for joining us this week. And as we said, this is Love, Hate and Other Filters. If you want your own copy, then come by the library or give us a call or an email and we'll hook you up. So yeah.